Welcome to St. Peter's Church. I'm the Reverend Dirk Rankin, Rector of St. Peter's, and we are here today to share with you updates on our project for building Crossroads at St. Peter's. It was just a year ago when our yard was a blank space ready for its new building. We broke ground on September 29th, 2019. Since that time, Crossroads has been nearly brought to completion. So let's take a look and see how the building grew.
Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. I want to live in the Lord builds house.
As we do every week, let us begin with prayer that God will continue to guide us through building Crossroads. Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, you declare your glory and show forth your handiwork in the heavens and in the earth. Guide us through this building program so that the work we do is done in faith, truth, and beauty. Help us to create a place of welcoming, a place of healing, a place of fellowship and celebration, a crossroads of all life in our community, for the sake of the one who came among us as one who serves, your Son, Jesus Christ our Savior, who reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Here's our agenda for today's Zoom. We will begin with updates on our building status and a tour of the building. Kurt Tweeten will then give us financial updates on how the first 3-year pledge campaign has gone and what the Crossroads Budget is like. Jeff Knauer, our campaign consultant, will introduce Phase 2 of the capital campaign and explain creative ways to give. We'll conclude with a discussion of other ways that you can help and answer any questions that you may have. Next up is a video tour of the inside of Crossroads with a discussion of what the building has to offer both for us and for our community. I was able to take the footage this last Wednesday, so it's just a few days old and shows you where we are now, less than a year after we broke ground. Welcome to Crossroads at St. Peter's Church. I'm Father Dirk Rankin, the rector of St. Peter's, and I look forward to showing you the latest updates on our newest project for the Freehold community, Crossroads at St. Peter's Church. We're about to go in and to see what new updates have been made to the building since the last time we were here. You will find that the walls have been painted, flooring is starting to be put down, cabinetry has been installed in the kitchens, and just as of today, there's electricity in the building which lets us see how the lighting works in each of our rooms. So let's go inside and take a look around. Our entryway is a spacious open space which will have digital signage on the wall when you come in, where we can show promotional footage of events that are upcoming at St. Peter's, as well as put up information on where people can find their way around the property. And you'll see how it is attractively lit with recessed ceiling lighting that will make this a bright, warm, and welcoming space any time of the day. And like all of Crossroads, the entryway, as well as each of our rooms, is well lit by natural light from large windows which match with the rest of the architectural features on our property. As we continue to make our way around, we will see the back portion of the entry hallway with a door on the left for steps to go upstairs or down to the basement. And here on the right, we have our elevator, which is just being installed. And we can take a peek in and see the progress that people have made. With the car on the first floor, down at the basement, with a stop here on the first floor, and then it will go up all the way to the second floor. So wherever you are in Crossroads, or if you need to bring in items up from the basement, you'll have an elevator to help you with that process. Crossroads has two main floors. The second floor is our kitchen and large gathering hall with capacity for 140 people. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But on the first floor, we have a wing of various sized meeting rooms and a resource room that we want to take a look at. Each of these rooms are available for use by St. Peter's and for the community at large. They are different sizes and configurations and can be adapted to any need. As we step in, you can see how the hallway is brightly lit with lighting very close to the ceiling to keep a sense of spaciousness. The restrooms on the first floor for men and for women have a slate flooring and tile half wall. The upper walls are painted a very neutral light gray. Our first room on the left is a resource room for St. Peter's and for the whole community. The room will have a monitor and presentation system on the left wall and built-in bookshelves on the right wall with a seating area in the middle for small group meetings. As we continue on, we could take a look at the first of three individual meeting rooms that are different sizes. Most have a capacity of 8 to 15 people, depending on the configuration and type of meeting, or can also be used as spacious office space. As we step across the hall, we're entering into the first of two of our large multi-purpose rooms that can be subdivided into smaller rooms as needed. This room will be dedicated for children and youth. It will be used by the after-school program, which tutors children from area elementary schools after school hours during the school year. Our other large multi-purpose room will be dedicated for adult use. This room, when it is open, can hold up to 40 people auditorium style. It could be subdivided into two individual rooms that can hold about 20 people each, or it could be set up with conference tables and seating area as needed. Again, it is well lit by large windows that look out onto Freehold Borough and let in ample lighting. And on this end of the room, we will have cabinetry and a wet bar, as well as audio-video presentation equipment that will be anchored onto the wall and which anyone can use with either equipment that we have in the room, or they can also plug in their own equipment as well. The basement is a full basement. It is currently unfinished, but it is accessible by elevator and also has HVAC and has been plumbed so that restrooms, showers, and a washer and dryer can be added at a later time. This will be particularly useful to our emergency housing program. There is ample room for any of our groups to have perfectly secure storage space. Welcome to the gathering hall of Building Crossroads. This is the heart of what Crossroads has to offer, a place where over 140 people can gather at one time for presentations, for receptions, for parties, for celebrations, for fellowship of any needs. This room will serve both St. Peter's and the surrounding community. It will dramatically increase the capacity that we have to offer lunches to those in need during the week, as well as our community supper program on Friday nights. As we could see, the kitchen will have attractive cabinetry. There will be granite countertops. The kitchen is very bright with light coming in from 4 different windows. There's a space in the middle for our commercial oven with its hood that's being installed. Once the elevator is working, the oven and other appliances will be brought in. There will be an island in the center of the kitchen with a sink for washing and cleaning food, and then a dishwasher and major cleaning sink will be over here on the left with additional countertop and cabinetry. And at the far end, we'll also have a warming oven for foods that just need to be warmed up, such as a caterer might bring. Here's a final look of the parish hall from the kitchen. There will be 4 chandeliers suspended from the center of the ceiling, which will tie the parish hall together beautifully with the rest of the property and also make it a modern, elegant space. This is Crossroads from the Broad Street parking lot. Once again, we are able to park in the municipal lot, and as always, we could enter St. Peter's property through an attractive entryway that we are creating between the 2 buildings. This is Crossroads at St. Peter's. I hope you enjoyed the tour. We look forward to opening Crossroads to the community within the next couple of months. Your contributions and support have brought us this far and have made the work we do in Freehold for the whole community possible. Thank you for generosity, for your partnership, and for your prayers. We look forward to continuing to serve you and to serve the community together. So, we really dove into Crossroads near the end of our first 3-year campaign phase. We had 1 year to go on those payments. We were able to take this step because we took out a loan, which we mentioned as we broke ground. And at the time, it was with Two Rivers Bank, which is now a part of Ocean First in New Jersey. And we continue to work with them. So it's been your contributions and partnership with the bank and the construction loan so that we could keep things moving and get us to a place where we could open the building. So with this, what I would like to do is to continue with the process by turning it over to Kurt, who will give us a financial snapshot. So Kurt, let me call up let me start sharing the screen again. And then you can walk us through what you would like us to know and to see.
Thank you, Father Dirk. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, great. And Mega will cut me off at any minute if So thanks for your time this morning. So what you'll see here is, you may recall, we had a financial snapshot back in June. This is going to be an update for that, and you'll see that we've made some pretty good progress since then. We used a format to just kind of give you an overall view of the projected amount that we need across what I'll call the 3 major phases of all of Crossroads. You'll see that here. We'll then cover the amount received to date and then what we'll still need. The objective is to give you a very clear line of sight as to where we are, where we need to be financially as we officially launch the 2nd phase of the capital campaign today. From a budget perspective, budgets always change relative to the project. Since June, we're holding pretty steady, maybe about 100K up. I think the bulk of that were from some very wise decisions made on quality of material and trying to build to last. The the early stages, I would say, of this project, you'll see in green and yellow, and I'll just lump that into things like the engineering cost, design, consulting, getting the insurance performance bonds guarantees going, and any bank fees and interest along the way. Right now, we are, as Father Dick mentioned, we carry a construction loan. Upon certification of occupancy and move in, we'll convert that to a formal mortgage with the same financial institutions. So in green and yellow, that kind of represents what I'll say is, all of the startup and kind of steady run state of what you need to put these things in place. Obviously, the big bulk of the cost to the tune of just over 1.8 million is on stage one, which is the new building, right? Putting it up, furnishing it, and as you saw, tremendous progress. So we continue to pay the bills on that in rapid fashion. So that starts to wind down. What we have right now is kind of a stage two estimate at best for the old parish house removal, the work that we will need to do on the grounds. That's represented as 276,000 in light blue, teal, whatever that color is. And again, this is as of early September, so these things change. So that's the pie we need to fill. Next chart. This will give you a view of funds raised and funds needed to date. We're almost halfway there in terms of funds raised or solid commitment. And again, what I'll emphasize is we have not formally launched phase two. You'll see some numbers for what we did in a seed campaign to get that going. So we'll cover the red last. What you'll see in green is what we've received to date of 670,000 for the capital campaign first phase. That will officially conclude the end of next month. We have some winding in on that, about 12K in remaining pledge that we think is pretty solid. In light green, you'll see seed for capital campaign phase two received. So anytime you launch, as Jeff can tell you, a major campaign drive, you want to start it out with some seed pledging received. And we've done that, and we think very successfully. We still have a pledged amount to that seed. So even before we formally launch, we're in pretty good shape that way. And then you'll see numbers for outside donations. We had, for example, the Lutheran Church come in with about 69,000 when they disbanded. We did have a corporate donation of $10,000 in the last month. And we do have a memorial gift as well. So if you total all that up, we're about 45%, on our way with about 1.32 million, let's just say 133, or 55% to go. So out of that, we have the $1 million construction loan to help keep us going, leaving the gap of about 329,000 that in total. So if we go to the next chart.
Next slide. Okay.
Just a little bit on the after St. Peter's, we have, as I said, the 100,000 received, and I think it's just the numbers we articulated here before. So we will continue to pursue this. We covered a lot of that topic in June, so I didn't want to get into details. We want to keep focused here on what we're doing with the start of the campaign within our parish, but know that this continues. We'll have follow-ups to letters sent, more letters to try to get more corporate donations. We'll look at other areas for ministry partnerships within the Episcopal Diocese and other churches, and we have a program for memorial giving that will be launched as well. Next slide. So in terms of phase two giving, again, we have received already, before the launch of this campaign, 287,000 was pre-pledged. Out of that, 238,000 has been paid. With the balance, firmly in reach. And again, this is just the seed portion of phase 2 giving. So now Jeff will talk more about opening this up to the parish in a minute. So overall, we've had a support of just over $1 million for the project. We have a total need of 1.33, let's round it, and we achieve that through various means. Right? We're here to talk about parishioner pledges as the first and foremost mechanism for that. That will continue to be the driver. We are certainly soliciting and promoting outside giving. Very difficult to do in this time of COVID, but again, we continue down that path. And we do have the mortgage payments coming up that once we convert. So better to, again, as we talked about in June, try to get as many funds as we can early in the process, thus helping our mortgage payment on the principal and interest as we continue. I think that was it. And
Kurt,
turning it over to Jeff.
Okay, Kurt, thank you. And so now we welcome Jeff Knauer. A reminder before Jeff begins that I know we're throwing some data at you right now, but if you have any comments or questions, just put them into chat. Meg will keep up with those and we will get to them after the presentation is finished. So we turn it over to Jeff. Welcome.
Thank you, Father Dirk. I think one of the exciting things about the first phase, looking back, was the fact that we set a goal for $550,000, and we almost thought of that a little bit as a stretch goal for the parish, and you came through with 670,000 contributed. So if you can reach back, give yourselves a pat on the back for your generosity thus far. You just did an outstanding job. And now you can see the fruit of your labor. I mean, what a magnificent building that has been erected there. So let's go to the first slide, the next slide there, Father Dirk, and we'll talk about campaign giving period number 2. As was the case with giving period number 1, this will last for 36 months from November of 2020 through October of 2023. You don't have to use all of the 36 months, but they are there for you, depending how you want to structure your giving. This will allow you to structure your giving around your personal circumstances. For example, you may find that greater tax advantages can be gained by combining 2 years' worth of giving into one calendar year. So let's say for year number 1, you decide to give part of your giving in, or your full year's giving in January of 2021, and another year's giving in December of 2021, thereby combining 2 years into one calendar year to get a greater tax advantage. You can do that. You can still get giving in for 2020, of course, if that would help you. But you structure it around your own circumstances that you can figure out as we go along. You may also consider your economic circumstances. One family I worked with a couple of years ago had 2 sons who were going to be in college, and so they figured out what their economic obligations were going to be, and they gave half of their total campaign giving 1 year, a third another year, and then a sixth in the third year, working around their family economics. Instead of just saying, well, we can't do it, we're going to have other expenses, they said, well, let's figure out how to best do our giving around our economic circumstances. And of course, as Kurt mentioned, for the benefit to the church and the congregation, the sooner that gifts are realized, the more interest will be minimized on the construction loan and eventually the mortgage. So you can bear that in mind as well. And of course, you can adjust that as you go along through the 3-year giving period. Looking at the next slide about making a pledge, um, to indicate your pledge, you may use the card that was enclosed in the packet you received and fill that out with the information. You can return that by mail, or you can bring it along with you to church. You can also go online if you would like and fill out the form there instead. Some people say, well, that's just easier. It's handier to go online. That's what we're going to do. Determine what your best gift is by using cash and by using other resources or combining the two. We'll talk more about the other resources in just a moment, some of the things that you might consider. Choose how you wish to give your pledge on a regular monthly basis. That works for some people. They just say, I'm going to give so much every month. That works for me. Some people have monies coming to them on an irregular basis. They might say, well, quarterly works better, or maybe just one shot once a year. You can, of course, always do everything up front if that's within your capabilities. If you're not sure of the timing, for example, if you have something maybe that you're looking to sell, a piece of property or some particular items that you're going to sell, you're not sure when the sale will be completed, you can just write in on the card, not sure of the timing or as soon as possible. Simply that communicates to the committee and the finance people when they can expect monies to come in so that they can budget to the best of their ability. Complete and bring your pledge in person or by mail or online by October the 4th. October the 4th is going to be commitment weekend, and you can either bring it in that day or you can submit it ahead of time by mail or online. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about what we call creative giving. You should have a sheet a little bit larger than this with a little bit more information within your packet, but it sort of gives you an idea of the areas in which you can think creatively, considering all of your resources in order to make your best gift. You know, our resources don't contain just what we may get on a paycheck or in a Social Security check or interest or things like that. It covers all of the things that we've been entrusted with by God, who gives us our sustenance. Some examples of thinking creatively to give might be sharing a portion of extra monies that you receive, a tax refund, a stimulus check, a bonus from work, or an inheritance from a departed relative. All of these things maybe be representing monies you didn't expect or you didn't know about, and you could share a portion of that with the campaign. Transferring shares of stock is a very popular option. That can be done directly to the campaign. What this does is it relieves you of paying the capital gains tax on any increase those shares have made, and it provides you with a tax write-off. It's a very simple process to go through. If you have questions on that, check with Kurt Tweeten. He will assist you with the details and guide you through that very simple process. If you are age 70 and a half or more, you can actually transfer a portion of your annual required minimum distribution from an IRA to the campaign. And if you do that, you won't have to pay tax on the amount that you transfer. Another way you can give is to donate directly items that are made of gold or silver, coins, metal bars, jewelry that you no longer use or wear. I had a gentleman a few years ago in a church near 3 Mile Island, and he told me I inherited all of my mom's jewelry and I don't wear any of it. I thought maybe that was probably wise on his part, but he said, I don't know what to do with it. He said, now I can donate it all in her memory. It was about $6,000. He didn't have that amount in cash, but he made a very generous contribution by donating the jewelry. Two churches that I'm working with right now together, small congregations, but they have realized over $30,000 from the donation of coins and jewelry that are no longer used. So that's something to consider. And you can donate those directly to the church. The church will liquidate them, and the amount received from the liquidation will be credited again to your account, that you might be able to write that off at tax time. Another way is to sell items of value that you no longer use or need. Things you've stored away that you may never get out again. Collectibles, antiques, tools, furniture, and so forth. A church member in Rhode Island had no cash to give. But when I talked to her about things she may have stored away, we found more than $10,000 worth of silverware and furniture on the attic. So you may be able to give in ways that you never thought about before. Consider monies that you have saved doing less travel or entertainment due to COVID, and share a portion of that amount. There are just so many options to consider. You're limited only by your imagination. And on the final slide for my portion, just again, bringing your attention to creative giving. It's such a big part of every campaign that I've been working on. With every church I partner with, I have always run into some members who say, Jeff, I just wish I could do more. And I tell them all the same thing. You probably can if you think creatively. Consider all of your resources: discretionary cash, savings, cash you can raise by selling things that you no longer need or use, along with non-cash assets. Then combine them together to make your best gift over the course of the campaign. All of those people who will benefit from the ministries that take place in Crossroads will thank you. Maybe they can't thank you in person, but they will appreciate this new wonderful space that they come to. And of course, if you have any questions about an idea that pops into your mind, just forward those to Father Dirk, any member of the committee, Kurt, and if they don't know the answer, they can get in touch with me and we'll help you figure out what to do. But think creatively, make your best gift, and enjoy the knowledge that over 600 people a week are benefiting from your generosity. Thanks. God bless you. I'm excited along with you, and it is a privilege and an honor to serve with you.
Jeff, thank you very much. There are plenty of questions I'm sure that you may have for Jeff, and he continues to walk with us in this process. You could put any questions in the chat right now, and we'll get to them during the Q&A, or afterwards if something comes to your mind that you didn't think about and you want to know what Jeff's thoughts are. We could certainly put you in touch with him. Jeff has been such a tremendous support with us in this process. For our final slide, I also want to put an ask out for some other areas where we could use some help. It takes a whole team to build Crossroads, and as the building is getting to the point where it soon will be open, we need a team of people to develop building use policies for people who rent, for groups who come in. We need to definitely be able to have very firm policies on kitchen and hall use, how to use the first floor rooms and such. And we also need some help with people who can help us surface potential renters and groups who would benefit from using the building, and help us monetize the use of that building as well. If you're interested in either of these areas, you could reach out to me. at any point, or you could put your name in chat and we'll be back up to you. I know that we already have a team of people who've been working on kitchen design, and some of them will definitely be involved with developing the kitchen policies, but we need policies for the whole building as well. Another area is leads to outside donors. If you have any connections with people who have a community interest in showing generosity and want to give us some background information on that, we'd be happy to write the letter. We would be happy to follow up on a contact you would want to make on our behalf in whatever way that works. An example is that the corporate donation we received was given a company that wants to be anonymous, but was given because a parishioner said, oh, I work at, and they like to do. So we sent a letter, and 2 weeks later, a check came in. And so that's how that works. You never know where people want to show generosity. Just simply giving somebody the trifold brochure and say, hey, this is what my church is doing in the community. It's not about religion, it's about serving the community. And that can really help a lot. Big corporations have rules against giving to churches, but smaller private businesses don't necessarily do. And so there could be plenty of opportunity there. Or if you work with, or if you have a company that did major work for you, siding your house or something like that, maybe they, you know that they give to the community, or your neighbor down the street happens to own a small business and know that they give to the community. Those are creative ways that you could help us to find leads of people to reach out to. We can always use help in the area of publicity and social media. We especially need to do a media campaign to get the word out about Crossroads. We do have a story to tell, and it's very hard to get people's attention to really write a story about Crossroads. So if you have any connections with any media outlets, certainly let us know, up to and including the New York stations. Everybody is looking for a good news story, and Crossroads is certainly a good news story of how a church is continuing to commit itself to serving those in need in its community in these times. And finally, always in the area of grant writers. If you have experience with grant writing or have an organized mind that can help us with that process, just let us know. You can contact me at my email address, put your name in chat, or reach out to us in any way, and we will be in touch with you. So with that, that concludes the slides that we wanted to share with you. We still want to take some time for some Q&A. And one final thing that I would like to share with you is just how to make your pledge online, and then we'll go to Q&A. So let me go back to sharing and bring up my web browser here. And there is St. Peter's Church. So if you go to St. Peter's Church, this is our home page. You can either go to the menu box on the right and go down and click Crossroads. And there you are on our web page, connected to Crossroads with our Crossroads prayer, and then information that we have out about Crossroads. And here are a couple of interesting buttons. No longer need to register for the Zoom update that's going on right now. You could submit your pledge online simply by clicking this button, and it will take you to a Google form. You can just fill out all the information. The only people who will see it will be, it'll go to my email box and to Robin's email box, and then Robin will enter it into the system. And you, the first section, you'll fill out your name, address, and such. And actually, let me just quickly dive in and do this, because it won't let me go forward if I don't fill in the rest of the information. There we go. And now you have a chart for how you can calculate your monetary gift if you want to give weekly or monthly or yearly. It shows in these amounts, this is what it totals. You put your amount here. You indicate whether or not it's going to be a one-time gift or what period you'll be giving the gifts. And then this is your total gift that you want to give below. And if you would like to make a donation now, you can click on that link. If you want information about electronic giving, just click that. We'll be back to you. And as always, if circumstances change, you can just notify us and we will make adjustments that are necessary. You win the lottery, 10% to the church, 10% to Crossroads. So if you want to do creative giving and want to offer any of these items, you just indicate with some descriptions and estimated values, and we'll be back with you to help you with that. And then finally, you just type in your name as a signature and the date, and then click submit, and that's how you make your online pledge. A very easy process. Let me get back to Crossroads at St. Peter's. There we are. And also back on our website, if you want to make a payment to Crossroads, just click on the Give Now button, and you'll come up. That's not going to work right for me. Let me see if anyway, you click on that button, Give Now, and it will come up to a form. If it recognizes you as a member of Realm or online database, it'll ask you to log in for that. If it doesn't recognize you as a member of Realm, it will just simply have the form for you to fill out. And you can always reach this on our homepage as well. Just scroll down to the section on Building Crossroads. By clicking Learn More, it takes you to our Crossroads page, and here you could also give to Crossroads. And there it is. There's our giving form, and you just fill in the amount that you want to give. You'll have to type over the zeros. So if you want to give a $400 donation, you just type in, indicate whether or not it's a pledge payment or a one-time gift. If you want to give once or give multiple times, the date of the gift and your email address, and click continue, and off you go. I'm going to back out of this, or I'll make a $400 pledge to Crossroads that I wasn't intending to make today. So there we are. And that's how our online giving works online. And so with that, I just want to see, do you have any questions or comments that you would like to share? Meg, you've been monitoring chat, so why don't you bring up anything that we need to follow up on? You're muted, Meg.
There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, we had a couple of comments here in the chat. One reminder from Susan Jane that volunteer time also is a benefit for our parish. Things like volunteering at the thrift shop, increasing our income there only helps to offset our expenses. And then she was just asking if people know how to make sure where they stand on their pledge by using Realm. If they need any help with that, they can certainly contact the office and make sure that everything that they intended is up to date going forward. We also had a note from Janet Burkhead, who is volunteering to assist with looking into some grants for removal of the old parish house once we get through the election. And then a question also from Kathy Wall, who was wondering about the timeline for the removal of the old parish hall. So I'll just bring those forward for response there.
Great. So following up on Susan Jane's comments, we do have an online database called Realm. And if you, it's very easy to access. You go to onrealm.org and put in your password and your email. If you don't have a Realm login, reach out to us and we'll get you one. We have sent everybody emails over time to make sure they have a login, but you know, emails these days just end up in mailboxes and stay there unless it's critical. So if you need any help with that, we can certainly help you. And Robin in the office can always quickly look something up, as can I. So that will help with where you stand with any of your giving or to make an online gift. Janet, thank you so much for your offer about tearing down the parish hall, looking for grant monies for that. That could be very helpful. Kathy, your question about the timing of this, it's actually interesting because we need to do some work with the architect to finalize the plans for that. So it's not going to happen right away. We have to start within, I think, a 3-year period. The borough would rather we move sooner rather than later, but there's a legal framework with an agreement we signed with the borough. So we will have to begin action on that within the next year and a half, because everything is supposed to be completed 3 years from the start. Now, part of that process, part of that consideration is this year's emergency housing program, because obviously with COVID how churches house 12 homeless men is very much a logistical question. And I know that Joan Mandel with Emergency Housing and Advocacy is working with Audrey Lottie and Mark Willis and other volunteers at St. Peter's to figure out what any church can do and what St. Peter's can do. And this is a situation where we should be in Crossroads at some point this winter. And so this is where, if we have the parish house that nobody else is using for any purpose whatsoever, that could be an excellent resource for the emergency housing program. And Vestry definitely very much encourage the use of that building to serve the community in any way that can be done so safely for the community and for our parishioners. So I don't see anything happening with the current parish house until after the winter, because it may be used for service needs. And Janet, you asked about if we'll put cots in the basement of building Crossroads. We're not sure where, when we get around to that time frame of when the men are sleeping in Crossroads, where that will be. We have some ideas, and I'll just leave that up to the intake volunteers to work with Joan on figuring that out. Joan is just ecstatic about the building and thinks that wherever the men are, be it in the basement or divided amongst the rooms overnight in cots, any of that is fine. But obviously safety comes first right now. And so that's what, so everything is predicated on what the health department teaches us about protocols and what's safe. So we've gone a little bit over our time. I don't want to rush anybody, but I do want to make sure that we've covered any questions you may have. If you don't know how to use chat or didn't get your question into chat and want to know more, now's the time just to unmute yourself and dive in. I think this is when we could take silence as a sign that we have covered our topics reasonably well. I just want to say thank all of you. I've enjoyed scrolling through to see you. I miss you incredibly. And it's just anytime I bump into somebody in a store or on the street, not literally bump in, we don't do that anymore, but walk past each other 6 feet apart. It is truly a great joy to see you. And I want you to know that you are very much in my thoughts and my prayers every day. When I think of St. Peter's, I see all of you in your pews, even if you're not there. Or for some of you who are in the chapel on those Saturday evenings, I see those Saturday evening services with you there, even when we're physically not there. So I just want you to know that you are a part of St. Peter's in whatever way. And I'm not lying when I say this. You have built Crossroads. Your work has made this possible. So it is amazing. And I want to thank you for everything we've been able to do. Meg, Kurt, Jeff, do you have anything else for the good of the day? Thumbs up. I think I saw the carols pop in earlier. Kim and John, you're a part of the planning team as well. Do you have anything you want to chime in with before we sign off? Silence equals consent. And the warden, Susan, Jane, and Candy, anything that you want to... Oh, I'm sorry, Kim.
Sorry about that. You guys covered it all. You did a fabulous job, and thank you for sticking with it the way everyone has, because it's an amazing accomplishment, really is. So thank you.
And I want to thank Kim and Nancy Balicki and Candy Cooper, and I'm sure there's somebody else in the mix, Mary Beth McKenzie and Teresa DeFuria, for their work on the kitchen designs, and Nancy and Kim, especially with Candy, going out and checking various sites and making sure we have the right furnishings. Candy and Susan Jane, do you have anything you want to share as wardens before we wrap up?
I don't have anything. The only thing I want to say is if anybody happens to be there anytime when there are workers, I've gone over to them and asked them if I could just go in and take a walk around, and they're always willing to let you.
Thank you. And Susan Jane?
Just a quick thank you to everybody. It's been amazing being on this team of such dedicated personnel, and we thank you very much.
Thank you all. And remember, keep Jim McCrite, Bruce Edmonds, and Jim Hurley in your prayers. They are the ones that are supervising the building process with our construction manager, Dave Bossart. one or the other or all three of them are there every single day. They eat, sleep, drink, think Crossroads, dream Crossroads, and they're just amazing. We're blessed to have such caring and talented people in our congregation. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I will see the confirmands today at 4 o'clock at the Manalapan Rec Center Park, and we will be live tonight at 8 p.m. over Facebook for Compline. And hope you could join us. We'll be praying especially for teachers and students this evening. So God bless all of you, and we will see you soon. Be well, everyone.